Blog Talk Radio.
The purple angel, oh purple angel, you're next to me. Purple angel, oh purple angel, you're next to me. You're next to me. You're next to me.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Alzheimer Speaks Radio. This is your host and founder of Alzheimer Speaks, Lori LeBay. And I have to apologize. The last couple of weeks, I have gone with some pre-recorded shows because I have been busy celebrating the birth of my daughter's little baby girl, Charlotte Ruth Ann. And so it's been some pretty exciting times and big shifting in our family here. So very, very fun. I'm excited to be back live this week, and I think we're going to have a great show for you. We're going to be talking about basically advocacy and product development and services that can help people live better with dementia, both those diagnosed and those that care for them. For those of you that aren't familiar with Alzheimer Speaks, maybe you're new to the show, I'll just give you a little kind of brief introduction to who we are and what we're about. Bottom line, Alzheimer Speaks is an advocacy-based company providing multiple platforms to shift our dementia care from crisis to comfort around the world. And we truly believe that by joining forces and sharing knowledge and just having these everyday conversations like we have here on Alzheimer Speaks Radio, that we're going to be able to remove the stigmas attached to dementia and memory loss and help those that are living with the disease continue to live their lives with purpose and feel connected to the community around them. Together we can help everyone understand the true needs of this disease by just having, again, these simple, honest conversations. Without them, the fear and the isolation continues, and nobody deserves to live a life like that. So I encourage you all to join the conversation, and you can do that by utilizing the chat box, or you can call in live at 714-364-4757. Again, that number is 714-364-4757. At our core, Alzheimer Speaks really believes that collaboratively that we're going to win this battle against dementia. And I know the powers that be are working. And I want to thank all of you for your likes and your shares of not only the radio show, but the blog and our website, our dementia chats, which are webinars that we do twice a month, because every time you share that, if it's with your Facebook friends, if it's with your Google Circle, if it's with your colleagues on LinkedIn, or whatever social media you happen to be connected to, you are pushing out information and making it readily available for others so that they can grab it when the time is right. And I know for me personally, I've seen a huge shift in the amount of information that is now available on Alzheimer's disease and dementia. And a lot more people are feeling comfortable tapping into the resources. So please continue to share and like and help us spread the word of the information resources that we have. All that you are doing has gotten us recognized at Alzheimer Speaks as the number one influencer online for Alzheimer's, according to ShareCare and Dr. Oz. And, you know, what an honor that is, but none of that would have been possible without you. So, again, I just want to thank you all, you know, for that so much. I also want to talk to you about continuing to raise awareness for those that are afflicted, with dementia and those that are caring for them. We really need to give people hope. We can no longer be a society just driven by fear. So I hope you'll check out our website, alzheimerspeaks.com. You'll have great access to a lot of our different platforms on that site, and hope you share that with others as well. So today we're going to start out talking again about making life easier with all types of dementia, and we are going to talk first with Molly Dye. Now, Molly is the president of MDF Designs, a company specializing in the designs, marketing, and sales of special apparel for adults who struggle with incontinence and abnormal kind of issues. And her brand includes CareZips, and it's a patent-pending trouser or pant with a unique frontal opening, allowing adults and their caregivers to work with greater dignity and ease, which is just so, so important. Clients include retail, institutional, pharmaceutical has some interest in it, private caregivers and families, and home health care agencies as well. So welcome to the show, Molly. How are you today?
Oh, Laurie, thank you very much. First of all, a quick congratulatory note on your new grandbaby. That's wonderful. And then a big, fat thank you for bringing such advocacy to this dreadful issue of dementia across so many lines and people and incomes and sex and ethnicity. I really appreciate the advocacy, and you're absolutely right. The more we can share on the situation, the better it is. And I, too, am noticing an effort to share information and learn more about the disease. It doesn't seem to have the stigma that it did just 10 or 15 years ago. Certainly in my case, our family has grappled with it for about that amount of time.
Wow. So you have been personally touched by dementia in your own family?
Oh, my goodness, I really have. Our family struggled with my mother's situation for 12 years and then a good solid 10 years of really understanding what was happening and the changes in her personality. And then her husband at the time also was dealing with the dementia, so it was almost a double whammy for us. And I will absolutely never forget the moment when I asked the caregiver if I could please watch the process of how she went about changing my mother's adult brief, knowing that one day I would have to do so. And I'm watching this process, and I watch my mother grimace, not from the pain, but from the indignity of it. I watched the caregiver struggle to roll her on the bed. Her bed was very low to the floor because she had a tendency to fall out of the bed often. And I looked at this and I thought to myself, there has got to be a better and easier and more dignified way to handle the issue of incontinence, which is so very much problematic for dementia patients, particularly in even middle to late stage. And there's a lot of incontinence unrelated to dementia as well. And the CareZips brand, these trousers, came as a result of that Sunday afternoon, watching that process. I came home and said to my husband, I have got to figure a way to do this better. And I learned to sew in high school and had a 35-year-old sewing machine and pulled that machine out and turned our dining room into a sewing room. And 15 prototypes later, I would take a model to the nursing home where she was living, and they would try it and say, no, that won't work. You got to do something else. I tried absolutely every fastener, every pattern that I could get my hands on that would help it. And finally, we came upon the final prototype. And here we are, CareZips, manufactured here in Georgia, and we are off and running.
Wow, that's exciting. That's
you.
very exciting. Can you tell us, in a little bit more detail, about CareZips and how does it work? I know that you just stated that it came about because of your frustration of seeing the undignified way your mom was being cared for, and But tell us how your product is different, if you could.
Yes, thank you. What people will find on the market today, you can easily find the zippers on both sides of the pants, from the hip to the knee, or you can find adult onesies, so to speak, where the only fasteners are in the back. Well, you have an adult who needs to wiggle out of their pants to have a brief changed or take their socks and shoes off. And naturally, this is happening 6 and 7 and 8 and more times a day. And it's that caregiver is struggling to roll the adult, or you're struggling on one leg to get your pants down. Well, CareZips have eliminated the inseam, enabling you with 3 zippers, sides, and an interior zipper, moving from the interior of the knee up through the inseam and then down to the other interior knee, all one zipper. You're opening the pants frontally. You're not having to wiggle them down to your knees, which enables or creates this undignified way of handling things. And removing socks and shoes is hard in people who are either with ALS or with maybe wheelchair bound or just joints in aging issues. And our aging boomers everyone needs to do it easier, and it enables the caregiver with this frontal opening. And the pants are made with high quality manufacturing and good zippers and elastic, and we've got 4 different colors and 7 different sizes that give people lots of good choice. We've got repeat customers. We've got all ages, both sexes. I've had an individual who called just to buy the pants for a transcontinental air flight from Hawaii to New York and back again. With those tiny little airplane bathrooms, there needed to be an easier way to help with the brief, and this opening, which enables us to give that ease to the caregiver and to give a dignified change to the adult. You've mentioned patent pending. I'm very excited to report that I've received news that our patent has been issued, and we are receiving a letter from the patent office, U.S. Patent Office. I believe I'm expecting it this week, so I'm excited with that good news. Anyway, so have I answered that question appropriately insofar as how the pants differ? Think of it as not wiggling, but opening frontally.
Okay. Well, and that makes sense. I think one of the things, too, is that, people think, oh, I don't need that, I don't want that, or, but it really is about creating independence and comfort. And so we really shouldn't be so worried about, what a brand is, because everything, we really do in life should be about making us comfortable and making things easier. I had to kind of giggle. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Excuse me.
Oh no, I was just thinking, my daughter just had this baby, and it's uncomfortable, and for that situation, women wear pads because they're, they bleed and stuff afterwards. And she said, "Mom, will you get me some women's underwear, disposable women's underwear?" And all her girlfriends now are wearing that instead of the pads because they're much more comfortable. It's it's easier for them. And it was like, well, that's brilliant,
Isn't that, that is.
and they're
That
getting rid of
is.
the stigma, which is part
Yeah.
of, I think part of people's hesitation in making this change. But it just, I mean, I saw my
Right.
mom struggle, with getting
Right.
changed, and
Right.
she needed two people, to do a transfer.
Exactly.
Her clothes many times got ripped, because they weren't accessible. And what
Yeah.
good is that?
I know it. And the interesting point in your daughter's situation, her condition will end. Well, in the incontinence world, it isn't going to end. It will
Yep.
never get better. And I've also had one other story where a man, he never wanted to leave his home because he was having to wear a cath bag, which in the case of men, it's attached to the interior leg. And the CareZips have enabled him to leave home because he feels like he can handle an emergency quickly. And he can. He can handle it in a hurry, and he can handle it by himself in the men's room, which helps him tremendously. And I'm very pleased. We have a young adult. In fact, we've got innumerable ones, but one in particular wore his CareZips in his wheelchair out to a trade show that he was attending for a whole nother reason. He's still working. And one of the women at the trade show said, I have got to have a pair of those pants. Please get me in touch or tell me where I can be in touch with the maker, or let me know where I can buy them. And that made me feel very good as well. The CareZips are also very athletic feeling. The fabric is soft. It has 7% spandex in it. It's a polyester and rayon fabric. This enables it to be laundered so much more easily. If you grab it from the dryer, you're not even having to iron it, and the drying time is minimal, maybe 10 minutes. And so it's very easy to wash and just very easy to launder. It's a very athletic feeling fabric. Many people like the softness of it. We have 4 colors to choose from right now. We are hoping to add to that. And within the month, I think on our website, which is www.carezips.com, on the website we'll be able to offer a fabric that is purely cotton and polyester. The purpose of that is that many of the washing machines in the older assisted living homes or nursing homes, some of those washing machines have such high temperatures, both for water and heat, for the sanitary purposes, that sometimes spandex does not hold up so well under that high heat. We're going to be able to offer a cotton polyester blend in February or in March. But the trade-offs, it's less soft, and it's a little bit, got to iron them. So it all depends on what the person really needs and wants, and what their conditions are, their home conditions. I have innumerable caregivers who really are loving the pants. One customer, her caregiver, has called them the Cadillac pants. Let's wear the Cadillac pants today, because they were so fond and easy and fun to wear, kind of thing, like a Cadillac might be fun to drive.
Oh, that's neat. That's a nice way to look at things, and again, trying to remove that stigma that sometimes gets attached to it. Because
yes.
I would imagine where seams and stuff are, I mean, no one's going to know that the accessibility is really different.
You can't see it. Exactly. You cannot see it. And I'd like to comment for anyone who is having to roll a patient in a bed to change the adult brief. The zippers on the sides have been pushed forward a bit, an inch or two, more along the pelvic bone, so that you're not rolling on top of a zipper head. we have a nurse in one of the VA homes who has indicated that she's loving the fabric because it is lessening the skin shears, which, of course, in the very, very infirm, your skin has become so thin that you can have tears. I think this is what creates bed sores, and she's loving the fabric for her patients because it's lessening those skin shears. So I'm very pleased about that. We are all about helping people. I've almost have the motto, I will do anything to help the caregivers of America, because we are under siege right now. There's so many people needing the care, and it isn't going to get better for a while as the boomers are aging. I think the statistic is 10,000 a day in America are turning 65 years old, and that statistic may have started in 2014, not January 1st, 2015. So we have this huge bubble in the population that's moving into these kinds of issues, and we've got to do better at taking care of elders and people who are needing extra help. And to wear your normal street clothes in these kinds of conditions just doesn't get it. I saw innumerable cases in my mother's nursing home where that was the case, and I'm just so eager to help people, help with their dignity and help with the ease.
Well, and I think it's so important, like you mentioned, the man who can now get out, who feels comfortable and confident, where before was hesitant. I mean, that's a beautiful thing, to be able to help people feel independent and feel confident, when they're out. Because none of us wants to have an accident, I mean, how embarrassing, for that.
Yes. We had that with my mother. We just, right in the middle of the store. It just was an accident. It was so embarrassing to her. You just have to walk out and leave. I encourage your listener to please go to the website, www.carezips.com, and contact us, leave us comments. We are very customer service oriented. We try to answer questions. We try to help people. If the pants are not going to work for that individual in that setting, we'll tell you. We just want to be an advocate for adults and elder care.
Now, you had mentioned adults. Do you do anything for? Because I'm sure that there's children that have issues as well, or is it strictly an adult line at this point?
No, it's we market to adults, but there are plenty of teenagers who can satisfactorily wear and use the pants. The extra small will probably fit a 10-year-old, or even the small, a larger teen. So yes, the market consists of adults primarily, but there are absolutely teenagers that would use the pants. In some cases, I try to refer to young adults. It's true that it was the incontinence factor that kicked in my head when I started just that Sunday afternoon, seeing it immediately and feeling the need, seeing the need and feeling the need. Teenagers didn't come to mind, but absolutely, if it would help, I say try it. Try hard. We do have partners with home health care agencies where there's an opportunity for them to sell the pants at a discount to their customers and their clients and families. We do have that opportunity as well. I encourage any of the home health agencies to be in touch with us. We have a partners page on the website currently, which could give someone a sense of some of the other agencies that we are partnering with. am eager to get the product out so that people can see what they're missing.
Mm-hmm. Can you share with our audience in terms of pricing?
Sure. The pants are offered at $39.99 on the website. We do have a few pharmaceutical businesses that are offering the pants on the shelves right there in their stores near their incontinence products. And if you don't see it in your pharmacy, then inquire, and we can make that happen. But they would also be offered at $39.99 per pair.
Okay, great. And that's a reasonable, price, especially for the the convenience that it allows somebody. Not only
I think so, and the quality.
Mm-hmm.
The quality is good.
Well, and I would imagine too that it can help reduce injuries both to the person you're caring for, but also for the person caring for them. Because I would imagine people can pull their back out or, do some damage.
Yes, good point. And that is a little piece of my mother's story I failed to mention. My mother was a fairly large-boned woman. She weighed about 150 pounds. That particular afternoon, her caregiver was a tall, thin, lean, beautiful caregiver, and it honestly, with the bed about 6 inches off the floor, that caregiver was struggling. She really almost had to get down on her knees to move, 150 pounds of almost dead weight. It is a struggle, and to take the pants all the way off, down beyond your feet, take off your socks and shoes, it's just not easy. And many of the adult population are wearing the wraparound briefs as opposed to the pull-up briefs, and a lot of it has to do with the finances. The pull-up briefs are a lot more expensive, at least in my market, and the wraparounds are far less so, and they are more comfortable for some of the adult population. My mother was in the wraparounds. Your daughter was probably in the pull-ups, and
Yep.
But again, that's a very temporary situation in her case, and the wraparounds. So. What's that?
I said she hopes so.
I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure. Oh, yes.
But she was so surprised at how comfortable, they were.
Yeah.
And really, really shocked. And so I think that's one of the things that people might be really surprised with your product as well is the comfort.
They will.
Not, physical comfort, but also the emotional comfort.
Oh, they definitely will. And your caregivers will be so much happier, too. You've got 2 snaps on the top, so it's just a quick snap, zip, unzip, zip, situation. And it's and we did, that is a true story. Part of my 15 prototypes were used with other fasteners. And that's when I use big snaps, little snaps, Velcro. I used all kind of things. And the nurses and the nursing staff and the CNAs said, nope, won't work. And this is the ease with which we're working. So I'm so pleased. I'll be honest, my mother, who has now passed away, is looking down on me saying, go, girl, go. And I'm very excited about that.
Well,
she would be
it
very
amazing?
proud of me.
It is amazing, though, the lessons we learn through life and how it, I would imagine this is probably the last thing you thought was on your list of things that you would be doing.
You were so.
But it just kind of takes you to a place where you cannot not do it. because somebody needs to make the change, and I think that that's one of the beautiful things that I have seen, with dementia, and people, they're just very touched by by all of this. I'm going to pull in Harry Urban, if you don't mind. He's on the line with us, and Harry has dementia, and he's been dealing with it. I think, Harry, what have you been dealing with it for about 10, 11 years now? Is that correct? Or am I crazy?
Yes. Nope. I might be, but I don't think you are. In January, I was diagnosed 11 years ago.
Okay.
So I think I had an anniversary like a week or two ago.
Okay, well, well, great. Well, I'm just curious, what your thoughts are here, Harry, on these CareZips. I know that you're probably not at a stage where something like this is necessary for you, but what do you think about having a product like this available in case things would progress in a different direction for you, where you might physically be challenged with dressing and so forth?
I think you're wrong, Floy, in the marketing of a product like this. Now, I'm going to use myself as an example. It takes me a minimum of a half an hour in the morning to get dressed.
Okay.
Because I struggle. But a lot of the clothes I wear is not only comfortable for me, but that's secondary. It has to make me feel good. In other words, it has to allow me to have dignity walking around, like my trousers. I like a crease in them, and a lot of the easy clothes were designed for the caregiver and the easy on, easy off aspect, and not from the patient's standpoint of being stylish to them. And my clothes are from the 60s. That's where I live. I live in the 60s, and I like a crease in my pants, maybe a cuff, things like that. I would love to see somebody come out with a shirt that now I'm going to oversimplify it, but has Velcro on the front, but it appears to have buttons. Like I love button-down shirts, collars, and the cuffs and stuff like that. But I have so much of a hard time buttoning the buttons. My finger dexterity is so bad, and it would be so nice to have clothes designed that appears to me like I have buttons in the front and things like that, but it's easy on, easy off.
Oh, yes. Oh, now forgive me. Your first name is Harvey?
Harry.
Harry,
Yeah.
Excuse me. Harry, you're not going to believe it, but I think that I have seen that very shirt on the market today. I have a prototype right now on my drawing tables to potentially add it to the CareZips line, but I do think you can buy it now. Are you familiar with buckandbuck.com?
I haven't bought any clothes for years. My wife handles all that because if I would go out and buy clothes, I'd be buying bell bottoms and things like that. So she kind of handles all that. But to be honest with you, I haven't ever heard of any clothes in this area.
Oh. Yes, I do believe exactly the type of shirt that you're talking about can be found. It cannot be found with the CareZips brand just yet. We were focused on the lower half of the body, but we do plan to focus on the upper half, and hopefully that will be a product you'll see coming out with us within 12 months.
Okay.
That's wonderful because there's so many of us that is so far down this path that we have a lot of difficulty, but we're not dependent on somebody dressing us and things like that, and we still want to have that dignity of looking good.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I can buy sweatpants that have a string in the waistband, and that's convenient to slip them on and just, you know, tie the string. But that's not me. That's not. I mean, that's not the world I live in. You know, I like a nice set of dress pants, a nice dress shirt, and things like that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I could not agree with you more. I agree. Everyone needs to look the best that they can with the conditions that or the cards they've been dealt.
Mhm.
I appreciate that comment. That gives me inspiration to keep going.
Well, that's good. And again, it depends on where someone is at in the process, of the disease. And, because I know for my mom, Harry, and maybe you would disagree with me on this, but, for my mom in the last 4 years in her end stages, for her to wear something that was kind of creased and ironed and stuff just wouldn't make a whole lot of sense just because of her inability to be mobile. And the way that she was adjusted, I think she would turn into a wrinkle machine pretty quick if she had some a fabric like that on. So I think it really just depends on the target market, but I think that there's definitely several different target markets for products like these, for those who are looking for easier access for themselves but are still very active and out and about. And then you have, the whole other end where, and again, there's people in between there too, but at the whole other end is, someone who's totally dependent, like my mom was in her end stages. And so many different reasons for people's needs for accessibility, from arthritis to, I mean, the list can go on and on and on for different things. I know for me at, 55 now, I mean, I sure notice a difference in my joints and what they're willing to do or not do anymore.
Exactly.
It sounds like we've got a question from somebody, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this person in. I've got somebody from a 215 number. 215, you're live and on the air. Did you have a question or a comment that you wanted to make?
Yes, this is Michael Ellenbogen, and I hate to say that I agree with Harry, but I actually agree with what Harry just said. But I'd like to take that a step further. I'd like to know how are you testing these pants to know that the people who are living with the disease are actually feeling comfortable? Because you're testing them with the people who are, I guess, in the real late stages of the disease, and they obviously probably can't speak for themselves. So I'm wondering what testing you have done to ensure that they feel comfortable with it.
Sure. The answer to the question is a caregiver who has been caring for a late stage in communication, an individual who cannot communicate or who cannot verbalize, given a dementia, you will be able to tell when that person is uncomfortable, is irritated by something, agitated. There are ways that caregiver, maybe not on the first day of his or her being around an infirmity or a patient or sitting with someone, but by about day 3, you're going to be able to know. And you could tell if they kind of pick or pull. It's just like a baby. You could tell when a baby is frustrated or aggravated over something that was on their waist that was irritating. Same for the adults with the dementia. And while they cannot verbalize, oh, I don't like this, they would know, and the caregiver's going to know this isn't working for them. They don't like it. I hope that answers your question.
That does.
Yeah,
and if I could just make
oh, go ahead, Michael.
Go
sorry.
ahead. If I could just make a suggestion, I think it would be worthwhile to maybe do some studying to get people in the early stages, such as Harry and I, to at least maybe test things like this out for you or others, because I think there could be some valuable feedback that you may get from the people who can actually speak, because I sure would love to make sure that it really, truly is comfortable for those people.
Well, thank you for making that comment. May I give you 2 testimonies that I've already witnessed, one of which I just was on the phone yesterday with a mother of a young man who has had some sort of a accident in life that has caused him to be a paraplegic. He is very cognitive. He is in his 30s. He is fine, just the physical limitations from the waist down. He and she love the pants. He is wheelchair bound, totally. They've reordered. They are repeat customers. They love the pants. I also have a young man outside of Detroit who I mentioned in the first part of this show was wearing the pants out at a trade show in his wheelchair, and he explained to a woman who came up and said, anyway, they were engaged in conversation, and he is sitting there saying, I love the pants. She called me and said, I want to actually be a rep for your pants. I'd like to distribute the pants. We are talking with her now. So those are just 2 very personal testimonies of no dementia. It's just the physical limitations that they have. Wearing the pants has made life easier for them and their caregivers.
Great.
So I'm not disputing what you're saying. I would agree. The more testing we can do, the better and the better. We've had one individual suggest pockets. We do not have pockets in our pants now, and maybe that's a very excellent suggestion for the next edition. Wait and see.
Yeah, I know from, just watching my mom, and again, I'm referring to more end stages with her. The discomfort in the changing process was so significant that, something more accessible, even if, and I'm gonna say this kind of out of line, even if, let's say, the fabric wasn't the most comfortable, which I don't think is probably the case here, but even if it wasn't, I think it would outweigh the discomfort for someone in their later stages, when, especially like my mom was a heavier set woman too. It was a difficult thing to watch. It was a difficult thing to hear in her voice and to watch her face, because it really was a struggle, and it took literally probably a couple of years for that struggle in her to subside, and that was just as the disease progressed even more.
Yeah.
So, I think that there's a physical comfort, and then there's really an emotional comfort that needs to be considered. And again, when people are much more active and my gosh, you can't keep these 2 still for nothing. Michael and Harry, they are huge advocates, and they're all over the place. And so, I think if I were you, I would take them up on their offer to kind of be, test things out and give you feedback, because
Lori, I would. I will. Thank you.
Because these guys will be very honest. I have learned so much from both of them over the years. I mean, so much. Because they really want to improve things, and that's where their heart is. And once they get behind something, look out. because
thank you. I will, when we're offline, I'll obtain some sort of contact information, and I'll have to send them a pair.
Yeah. So they, because they really, they just they just have such great insights, and they care so much to improve things. And
that's wonderful.
Yeah. So, again, Harry, is there anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, one big notion that I push very hard with people I talk to, that there is life after diagnosis. That follow your dreams. Just because you've been diagnosed with some form of dementia, your life doesn't stop. And now, the way you look, the way you feel, plays a big part in that. And this line of clothes that Molly has, I think she doesn't realize that she's on the very tip of the iceberg. I mean, this can expand so much, and it would help so many people. That's incredible.
I take that as a compliment, and I'm so appreciative. I am very, very appreciative. I will have to confess that my mother was towards the end, middle to the later stages, but the first thing in her situation personally that went was her verbal. But I knew that she liked the pants, and I felt good about that.
Mhm. Yeah, wonderful. Now, Molly, can you just state for people again how they can get a hold of you? I know you have a website that's very welcoming.
Yes, thank you. We also have an 800 number. Either will work, and if the 800 number is with the machine, but we do have excellent customer service, your phone call will be returned. The 800 number is 800-206-4713, and then online, www.CareZips.com. CareZ as in zipper, I, P as in Paul, and S as in Sam. I believe our website is very friendly. I am down in the lower corner talking about why I came to this conclusion and why I felt so strongly about bringing CareZips to the market and how it evolved in my head. And then it's an easy ordering process. We've got swatches on the website for people to look at the colors. We have a sizing chart, men, women. The pants are unisex at the moment. I think in later renditions we'll need to, as Harry has indicated, potentially a few more styling issues could differentiate between male and female. But the sizing chart is there, easy to read, and a few clicks, and they'll be shipped to you. Made to order. We do not carry a huge inventory, but made to order, and they'll be with you in a few short weeks.
Okay.
2 weeks at most.
Okay. Well, wonderful. Michael, anything you wanted to add regarding CareZips and the conversation here?
No, just listening here.
Okay, sounds good.
I
Thank
do
you.
appreciate both gentlemen. I do appreciate both of your interest and your willingness to call in, and I thank you for the comments you've made to date. Thank you.
Well, wonderful. Well, we wish you all the success, and how exciting to be getting your patent coming in the mail here pretty soon, because I know that's a long process. So congratulations for making a difference and trying to make life easier for people with all different types of issues, dementia being one of them, but the accessibility in our clothing is important for all of us at different times of our life. So appreciate the work that you're doing.
Lori, thank you. And I appreciate your advocacy. As I started this by indicating such, I appreciate your advocacy. I appreciate both Michael and Harry's advocacy and bringing light to it. And I just also would like to put out a word for the caregiving in America and the caregivers that every day try to help someone and make life easier for those who can't for themselves. And I think that lots and lots of attention needs to go on the caregiving side of the equation.
Agree. I so agree. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Molly, and I'm sure we'll be in touch in the future.
Oh, thank you, Laurie. I do thank you. Thank you, Michael, and thank you, Harry.
Great. I'm going to go ahead and want to give a shout out to some of our collaborators. For those of you that are not familiar with Alzheimer's Disease International, I would highly recommend that you check out ADI, again, Alzheimer's Disease International. They are the association of all the Alzheimer's associations around the world. So if you're looking for a support group or some basic information, you can go to that site, find the closest one to you, along with a lot of updates on the global reports and research that's being done. If you happen to be here in Minnesota, check out Health Star Home Health. They're doing some amazing things. They really are taking a different approach. They've been through the Alzheimer's Whisperer program, which not only helps their staff care for a loved one, but they also help train the caregivers regarding, how they can best interact with their loved one as well, which is really very, very nice. If you're looking for a more holistic approach, I recommend you check out the Alzheimer's Research and Prevention Foundation. There you're going to find information about diet and exercise and meditation. Many people are dealing with specific types of dementia. There's, Alzheimer's is only one, but there's Lewy body, there's frontal temporal lobe, there's vascular dementia, and you may want to go ahead and check out the national sites for those specific types of dementia, because they will be able to support you better if you're dealing with a particular kind. During this journey, some people have some speech problems, and if you go to the National Aphasia Association, and that's APHASIA, you'll get some wonderful resources there. And, of course, I am a big believer in music, and you can check out Alzheimer's Music Connect. They had a beautiful Christmas CD, Memories of Songs and Spirits of Christmas, which I have to admit myself and my granddaughter are still listening to. She loves number 4, and she refers to it as the Boom Boom song, and we just have a lot of fun with that. But they have a lot of other great music as well. And we're going to be talking more about music in our second half of the show. Also, if you're looking for ways to engage, check out Puzzle with Me and the Jiminy Wicket program. Jiminy Wicket is an adaptive croquet game that works extremely well for people that are dealing with dementia. As far as mid-program highlights, last week we did a replay of the Us Against Alzheimer's Clergy Network, and they were talking about their new book for caregivers, which is just a beautifully, beautifully done book, and it has over 17 different denominations that are part of the book that give prayer and meditation. And so I would recommend checking that out. Our next show, of course, will be next Tuesday on February 3rd. I can't believe we're going to be rolling into February already. And then this afternoon, we will be having a Dementia Chats at 3 p.m. Eastern. That's 2 Central, 1 Mountain Time, noon Pacific. And those are free. And there you'll be able to talk with some of our experts who actually are living with the disease, because so often it's difficult for us to ask our loved ones questions or get feedback and pose situations. And Harry and Michael, who are with us on the show here, both participate in that along with some others. And again, they just give us great insights. I would ask that you go to alzheimersspeaks.com, check out our resource directory. Not only can you mine information from that, but you can also input information. And we would, of course, love you to follow us on Facebook. You can actually go to my homepage, Lori LeBay, LA_BEY, and then we have an Alzheimer's Speaks radio page, a general Alzheimer's Speaks page, a Alzheimer's Speaks resource directory, our dementia chats, and then, of course, our Purple Angel ambassador for the U.S. So I think that's it for mid-program highlights. Let me go ahead and introduce our next guest. I am very excited to have him with us. His name is Wayne Mesker, and he is the CEO of World Stock Entertainment, which is a spiritually guided philanthropic company based in Ohio. They are on a continuous search for caring and concerned and like-minded friends. And because of that, they are doing these great collaborations with some wonderful projects, making great connections and finding opportunities to really invoke positive change around the world. Woodstock really has no interest in what they get, but really is about what they can give. And Wayne founded Rock Against Dementia, which is a project he started after seeing the movie Alive Inside at the Cleveland International Film Festival in March of 2014. So today I wanted to introduce you to Wayne and hear from him directly about his vision and his goals for Rock Against Dementia. So welcome, Wayne. How are you today?
I'm doing well, and I feel very blessed to be on your show and to be doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's a fun time, when you can actually do what you love to do, and feel connected. I feel honored and blessed. I believe in that same way. It doesn't feel like work, does it? When you do what you love.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Can you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was online. I used my telephone for my internet connection, so I didn't get a chance to hear Molly's segment on the show, but I am definitely interested in checking out what she's doing as well, so I will be doing that after we get off the air.
Okay, well, wonderful. Now, Wayne, before I kind of roll into our standard questions, I always like to ask our guests if they have been personally touched by dementia with a family member or friend.
No, fortunately, to the best of my knowledge, I haven't. There's a possibility someone I might know is suffering from the early onset, but we're not sure about that yet.
Okay.
But I've been blessed not to have to deal with that part of it, but after seeing Alive Inside and getting in touch with Norm and kind of seeing the other side of the picture, it's imperative that I do what I do.
Mm-hmm. Well, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about Rock Against Dementia? And, I highlighted, that you decided to start this project after seeing Alive Inside. But can you give us some more details? What about Alive Inside? Because not everyone who's listening has probably seen it. But what about Alive Inside has touched you?
Well, it was just the reality of what happened when, I don't know if you've seen the trailer, but the elderly black gentleman by the name of Henry, the transformation that took place in him when they put those headphones and iPod on him and started playing music that he remembered from his past was just totally touching and amazing. And me being in the music business and having been fortunate enough to make some of the connections that I've made with everybody from local bands here in Cleveland to Artie Kornfeld, one of the gentlemen that was responsible for Woodstock of 1969, and David Bowie's ex-wife, Angie Bowie, and some of the legendary musicians from San Francisco Bay Area bands like Moby Grape and the Grateful Dead and the Jefferson Airplane. It was just a connection that had to be made.
Uh-huh. Well, that's wonderful. The movie Alive Inside touched me deeply too. It was I think it's one of those films where you would almost have to be, a block of ice, or a brick of cement to not be touched because it's just so powerful. One after another, you see lives transformed and people changed, and calmness and joy basically given back to them. And to me, I always knew the power of music, and I've always appreciated it, and I've always enjoyed it. But I guess I didn't. I was like many. I still took it for granted, even though it's a big part of my life, because it's so accessible. I think sometimes people don't understand the true value behind it because it is around us all over. And but when you see that movie Alive Inside, and if you haven't seen it yet, you can go to Netflix. I believe it's on there now, and see it. But it's absolutely incredible to see the nonverbals and the verbal exchange, and what happens when someone just listens to music that they love, music of their own era, and to see them come alive, and then it really almost transform a whole room who's watching. I mean, it just changed. You could just sense it changed the energy in the whole room. And so I think it's really exciting that you wanted to start this Rock Against Dementia. Can you tell us, what is Rock Against Dementia going to look like? What's your vision for it?
My vision for Rock Against Dementia is huge. Actually, I've been talking to Michael Bennett at a few points, and it originally started out as an idea for a series of fundraising concerts, myself being connected with musicians from all around the country, and musicians up in Canada, and musicians in the UK, and musicians in Paris, France, and Australia, and the Netherlands, and all over the world, basically. Is a series of concerts to raise awareness and funds to help this music and memory program along. But the vision has kind of expanded, and the huge hope, number one, is to get our representatives at the federal government level interested in passing a bill that allows for personal music devices to be available by prescription and covered by insurance carriers, which doesn't happen now. As was mentioned in the movie, a doctor said he could write prescriptions for thousands of dollars worth of medicines or for surgery, but he can't write a simple prescription for a personal music device and a pair of headphones without getting pushback. So we're trying to change that. So I'm reaching out to...
That would be amazing because, the point, like you mentioned in the film, was he said, I can write a prescription that's over $1,000 a month and no one bats an eye, or I could write a prescription for $40 for an iPod and a pair of headsets that's a one-time deal, and I get pushback. And yet the difference in the person and the effect that it has on the person is significantly more. And, I remember listening to him say that and just shaking my head going, we are so backwards, in this country in terms of how we care for people. And, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And there's no excuse for it. but it's a big tangled mess to unweave and to sort out. And it's sad that it will take probably a significant amount of time and energy and power people behind it to get that changed. Right. And I'm not quite sure.
I have been able to give copies of the film and information about the Music and Memory program. Actually, our Department of Aging, after seeing the film, totally embraced that program and has been doing everything in their power to implement it throughout the state of Ohio. And they've finally gotten information to all the nursing homes in the state of Ohio. So it's just a matter of time here. I've given information to Congresswoman Capture, who was my representative at the federal level, and Congressman Renacci, who was the Republican representative at the federal level, and also hoping to get Senator Sherrod Brown, who has already sponsored Alzheimer's-related bills in the Senate that have been passed. So we're hoping to get in touch with them when we go to the Advocacy Forum in Washington, D.C. in March. So.
Yeah. Do you find that, I guess what I found here in Minnesota, we have a couple of organizations that have gotten behind the Music and Memory program, but they're doing their own fundraising to be able to support the program. We're really not seeing anything change as far as statutes or prescription writing at this point. Is that what you're seeing where you are in Ohio as well?
We're seeing the same thing. Like I said, it's still not available by prescription, but the Ohio Department of Aging has released $400,000 of funds from the Nursing Home Penalty Fund to help get this program implemented in the state of Ohio. So that is progress here.
That's great progress. Yeah.
And I've connected them actually with. I'm working with Beverly Laubert, who is the long-term care ombudsperson from the state of Ohio. I connected her with the same person in the same position in Tennessee and a couple other states. So hopefully we may see something going on a national level once they connect and share information, and who knows.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. I'm going to go ahead and pull in Harry Urban on this because I'm sure he has some comments. Harry, I don't know if you're familiar with Harry, but Harry has been living with dementia for about 11 years now. Harry, what do you think about Rock Against Dementia?
This is the first I've heard about this, Lori, and I'm excited about it because I'm a big advocate of music and people with that suffering from dementia, and it is true that music can do, in my opinion, music can do more for a person than any medication that's on the market right now. I know music soothes me when I'm at my worst, and the idea has to catch on sooner or later.
Yep. Yeah, and it's amazing that it's taken this long, for things to catch on. I've been kind of shocked because I've known a lot of people who, Wayne, have wanted to really get music in the forefront and coordinate some, fundraisers, kind of like a We Are the World type thing, but it's a very difficult thing to orchestrate and to get people behind. Are you finding pushback, or are you really seeing that people are wanting to embrace this?
We're beginning to get more exposure. Hopefully we are going to soon be in partnership as a community partner with the Cleveland International Film Festival for an Alzheimer-related film that we'll be showing there this year once again. And the more exposure we get and the more press we get and the more outreach we can do, the better off we are. part of the reason I got involved, like I said, when I saw the movie, the connection was just evident. That a lot of the people I'm connected with, myself being 63 years old, I just turned 63, and the music from my era and the people I'm connected with that made music in that era, a lot of their music is going to be the music that's on those iPods and on those playlists for the people that are using this program. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. It's now you've talked with Michael, who is he's the director, I believe, of Alive
Yes.
Inside. And what does he think about your efforts? And he's got to be pretty excited, I would think, as well.
Yes, he is. Actually, he's got some ideas of his own, and like I said, we're hoping that this thing expands from not just a concert here and a concert there. The ultimate hope is for us to possibly end up doing a Live Aid type of concert on a weekend, or possibly a televised concert like they did for Live Aid, to raise awareness and to raise funds and to get this to the next level.
Yeah, is there to do like a big concert, would you be seeing it just live, or would you see I guess I have no idea how all this stuff works, being able to do something like almost like a television piece. I would imagine that would cost a lot more money, but they've done so many kind of music-a-thons on TV with raising funds for if it's hurricanes or whatever it might be. Do you think that that's even a realistic possibility at all?
I believe so. I haven't given up on that idea, and I am definitely going to push for it. And like I said, the further this thing goes and the more exposure we get, who knows who's going to want to become involved and where it's going to lead. Michael has made some pretty big musical connections on his own, so we don't know. I'm not going to divulge that yet, but he can if he desires to. When he gets an opportunity, it could be very big.
Well, that would be wonderful, and I understand how things have to be kept hush hush because there's so many different angles that things can go, and the last thing we want to do is to get in the way of furthering along progress, with something like this. But I don't know. I just think Bono and Elton John and some of those just seem to have such big presence in terms of really doing some philanthropic movements out there, and it would be nice to be able to see something like that come into play. I know others have talked about tours that kind of go around to different areas. There's just so many different chats that are done. I was down in Atlanta I want to say it was about a year ago, and there's a man down there that is doing some great stuff, and every year he puts on a concert to raise funds for dementia, and I want to say there was like 30 bands or something he pulled together, and everybody donated their time to raise funds for Alzheimer's and dementia. It was pretty fun time, and one of the local bars, which was quite large, they had bands playing both indoor and outdoor, and I could hook you up with him, and if that's of interest to you at all, I'd be more than glad to do that.
Absolutely. We've got actually Norm Mack is preparing to do an event on March 21st over where he's at, musical event, and I am putting together something here in my hometown for March 21st. I already talked to the people from the venue last night and have to see if the bands that I had, we were originally supposed to do one in September of last year that kind of fell through the last minute, but I'm going to see if the bands that were available for that are still available, or if I have to bring some other people in, and just to reach out across the country and across the world and see if anybody else is interested in doing something on the 21st, at least for this year, and shoot for something bigger next year.
Okay. Yeah, it was called the Alzheimer's Music Fest, and I'll shoot that to you. You can touch base, with them on that. But he might have some ideas on what's worked and what hasn't worked. His dad has dementia, and just really a talented artist, and very much in a movement for changing things up there on that. So if can you tell us a little bit, you refer to Rock Against Dementia as RAD, and what all have you accomplished so far?
Well, like I said, I'm putting together this event. We have done some fundraising in the past. With my band, actually, we connected with Todd Rundgren has a foundation called the Spirit of Harmony Foundation that basically supports music education. But through his foundation, there was a group of high school students that hadn't seen a live outside of Chicago that decided on their own that they wanted to do a similar type of project with dementia sufferers in their town in a nursing home facility, and we were able to raise enough funds to send them 25 MP3 players and 50 sets of earbuds so they could accomplish that. So that's one of the things we've done. I was down in Nashville last year for the Summer NAMM convention, which is the North American Music Manufacturers Association. They also support music education, and I introduced them to the Rock Against Dementia concept, so they're very aware of that now. And I'm planning on going back down there this summer again when they have their conference in July. And I wrote a song called, well, I didn't write it. My hired partner actually wrote the lyrics while I held the pen after seeing the movie, and the song is called Alive Inside. I'm working on that with Joe Vitale, who was Joe Walsh's original drummer in Barnstorm. Joe was Dan Fogelberg's drummer. Joe has worked with Crosby, Stills, and Nash in the past. He was just out with Buffalo Springfield when they did their reunion tour, so he's helping me with the music, and we're hoping we can do an all-star recording of that. So that's where we're going.
Very exciting. Very exciting. Well, that's an awful lot for when you look at the short period of time that you've gotten involved with this. It hasn't even been a year. More like 10 months, and that's a lot of movement on your part. Now, I have to ask, because you're doing so much for this, do you work full-time as a musician then, or...
Yes.
Okay.
In a manner of speaking, I'm retired. I finally was able to, after being in the business for a little over 6.5 years and not really making any money at it, but making, obviously, a lot of connections, I was able to retire, so I'm connecting my retirement and doing odd jobs on the side to pick up a little bit of extra money and devoting myself to these projects.
Okay. Well, wonderful. Well, that's fantastic. We very much appreciate your efforts. Anything that can help push things forward in terms of raising awareness and raising funds for dementia are much appreciated by all. Harry, do you have any questions or comments?
No, not really. I got kind of confused there for a little while. That is this a fundraising venture, or is this a product that's going to be sold? and I'm not quite sure that I understand that. But then again, that could be my dementia.
So, Wayne, I'll let you go ahead and take that.
Okay. Actually, this is not just a fundraiser per se, a fundraising effort per se, but it's also an awareness raising effort, more so than anything. Hopefully we'll be able to raise some funds and accomplish some things with that, but we really need to raise awareness as far as what music can do for people that have this disease. And we need to engage our politicians and get them involved and make them understand the importance of music for people that have this disease, as opposed to medication, as opposed to surgery, and offer hope to people that are suffering that maybe there's an alternative solution. And that's what we're hoping to do. I hope that answers your question.
Okay. So as far as you're not looking at coming up with a specific product to sell, is that correct? Okay.
No.
And I think the product that you were talking about was kind of the Alive Inside is it Memory and Music or Music and Memory project where they do
music. It's Music and Memory.
Music and Memory, where they have the iPods and the headsets. And so Wayne had talked about trying to raise funds and stuff to get that program.
I'm sorry. Unfortunately, I'm not sure why, and I'm not sure if it's gone any farther. Although Apple iPods had a huge role in the film, and I'm sure they got a lot of free advertising out of that. They haven't stepped up to the plate as far as offering to supply those at discount rate, as far as I know. I was fortunate enough when I hooked up with the Spirit of Harmony Foundation project to contact the manufacturer of MP3 players out of Oklahoma, who has offered me a very huge discount on similar products that are the same quality as the Apples. And I have a connection with them, and I've been able to utilize that for that project and hopefully for future projects if anyone is interested. So they can contact me about that as well.
Okay, wonderful. Wonderful. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about, Wayne, regarding what you're doing with World Stock Entertainment and Rock Against Dementia?
No, I think we basically covered everything so far. Like I said, I'm hoping that this thing continues to expand and reach across the world, because music is the universal language. Music is the universal unifier as far as I'm concerned. And it's the voice of the people, and hopefully it'll be the voice for us.
Mm-hmm. Now, you are on Facebook, so people can find you there, but you also have a website that is www.worldstockglobal.com and then /rock-against-dementia. So again, go to worldstockglobal.com /rock and then -against-dementia. My guess is if you put in Rock Against Dementia, you'll probably come up with them too. If you just want to Google it, I'm gonna put it in right now and test that theory out and make sure.
If you just want to go to worldstockglobal.com, they can check out some of the other projects we're involved with as well. But we do have a page specific for Rock Against Dementia.
Yep, and if you put in Rock Against Dementia, you come up anyways in my search as the number one search for Rock Against Dementia. And so really, really easy to be able to find you. That brings you to the Facebook page. on that one. And then if you go down just a couple, you'll see the World Stock Entertainment and the Rock Against Dementia site, and you'll be brought up to fireworks going off and the cause on that page there. So that is fabulous. Now, they can also contact you through the website. It looks like there's a phone number listed of 216-316-2379.
That's my personal number.
Okay. And then you also have an email of rockdementia@outlook.com. But I'm assuming that they could contact you through the website as well. There's a Woodstock 271 Yahoo one there too as well. So it's real easy to get a hold of Wayne. And on the website, you'll also be able to see a short video, which is kind of almost a trailer that's almost 7 minutes long of Alive Inside with Henry, which is just really so powerful. So powerful and very, very exciting times. So, well, wonderful. Well, with that, then I guess I will let you go unless there's anything else. Are there ways, Wayne, that people could volunteer or donate to your cause? I should probably ask you that.
Actually, I don't have anything set up for that yet. Rock Against Dementia is really not an official 501c3 as of yet. We're working on that. But for the moment, I'd be hesitant to try to collect any funds.
Okay.
But I will find out. I know Michael has a 501c3 established that he's working on, so if I can get that information.
Okay. Well, that would be wonderful. And again, with Michael's site, do you know the name of his website offhand? Is it just Alive Inside, or is it?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
I'll have to find out, but I will get you that information.
Okay. Because if you put in aliveinside.us, that talks about the trailer and things, but it doesn't really, it doesn't, I'm not seeing any place where somebody can donate, but there is a contact button on that. So we'll dig that information out and be able to get that to people for that. But again, great information. Well, I thank you so much for taking time to be with us and share what you're doing. Rock Against Dementia, I think, is a great title, and it's a wonderful vision and a mission. So I appreciate all of your efforts.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on the show, and hopefully we'll be back again.
Okay, sounds good, Wayne. Have a great week. Thank you. Again, I would like to be able to just do a shout-out to Alzheimer's Disease International, the Alzheimer's Research and Prevention Foundation, the Lewy Body Dementia Association, as well as the Association for Frontotemporal Degeneration and the National Aphasia Association. Great organizations in the forefront of things. If you're looking for home health care and you happen to be in Minnesota where I'm located, check out HealthStar Home Health. They just do a magnificent job, especially for those who are dealing with dementia. If you're looking to kind of engage and have some fun and your person likes to work with puzzles, check out Puzzle with Me. Jane Snyder has done some really nice, beautiful age-appropriate puzzles for people with dementia with fewer pieces, a little larger in size, and so those work out very, very nicely. And if you're looking for something with a little bit more activity, check out the Jiminy Wicket program. Jiminy Wicket is an adaptive croquet program that can be played by families, or it can be played with schools. They go in actually and will match up schools with memory care units to play the game together. It's very fun. We played at Rockefeller Center. And then if you are looking for some music, Alzheimer's Music Connect actually has a patent pending technology with their music that's very powerful and helps people engage for longer periods of time. And it's just, you can't tell it's there. There's nothing different really about the music. It's one of those hidden things, but very, 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 very powerful as a whole. I did also want to mention that I got notice from the Alzheimer's Society of Bangladesh, and they are trying to raise funds to build their nonprofit organization. And so I'm going to put in the link, if you're on the chat box, for people to be able to see that brochure. It's fairly extensive. It's 27 pages long, but they've really got a nice vision and some great information. So if you're interested in donating to, their cause, please do so. Again, that is for the Alzheimer's Society of Bangladesh. Harry, is there anything going on with you that you'd like to talk about? Or I know we've got the dementia chats this afternoon.
Oh yeah, I have to say something for that. We could talk about the snow, but I don't want to.
How much snow did you get? I've been so busy. I know that there's like a big blizzard out there, but I haven't really heard a lot about it. And here I am in Minnesota where we should just be deluged. And I mean, I can look out and in areas I can still see the grass. I mean, it's bizarre here this year. Do you know how much you got?
We were blessed. They were forecasting in our area in excess of 12 inches, but I don't think we got 3 inches, maybe about 3 inches total. But our friends over in Jersey, they got pounded pretty hard. Some got 24 inches, and my heart goes out to them.
Wow, that's a lot of snow. 2 feet of snow. Oh my gosh. I'll have to check with my brother who's out in Pennsylvania, and he's over in Bethlehem, and see if they got hit with the snow or not. I haven't talked with him, and I've got a stepson out in the city of New York, and I don't know if they got hit or not. But it sure sounded everybody was shutting down and canceling meetings, and they weren't even sure their phones were going to work. I mean, there was a lot of prep going on for this war, So yeah, it was kind of crazy with things. So, well, good. I'm glad you guys are safe and warm and doing well. If anybody is on the line and wants to call in, you can call in at 714-364-4757. Again, that's 714-364-4757. And if you are doing anything regarding advocacy that you'd like to share, please let us know. We would love to hear about it and see what the heck you are up to. There's so much exciting stuff going on. It's almost it is. It's just kind of hard to keep up with it all, with all the different things that are happening. So I know that there's lots of fun things happening. In fact, I met with the people that do the McGruff work, which is for kids, being safe. And I don't know if you remember the McGruff program that's out, Harry, for children, and you used to be able to kind of put a little symbol on your door and say that people were safe. It was a safe house to be able to go. Well, the McGruff program has also devised a caregiver's wandering, a guide to wandering for Alzheimer's, and they're doing some neat things with that. And in there, you can do kind of the basic ID and DNA kits, so you can do the fingerprints and then have basic information in case somebody would wander off, which I think it's a very simple something for people to get started with, and it's kind of a neat little thing to be able to be part of. If people are interested in more information on that, just give me a jingle and I'd be more than glad to talk with them on that some more. I think I'm going to try to get those funded for some talks and try to get some cities to be able to hand those out. I think it would be great to have that along with information on like the USB bracelets and the GPSs and all the different variables, and for people to really understand how cities work in case somebody would happen to wander off. Here in Minnesota, you can actually register your house if somebody has dementia. So if there's ever a call, the police know to look for somebody with dementia there. You can give them specifics and stuff. So that's kind of neat, and you just call 911 and register. Do you have anything like that in your state, Harry, where you can register with the state for emergency?
In the state of Pennsylvania, yes, but where I live, unfortunately, no. And that's something that we are trying to push for, and it's still in the infant stages, but I do believe that's going to happen. Yeah, I just think it's so critical. We need to be having those conversations more and more, all the time, for safety and things. And I'm so proud of the city of Roseville here in Minnesota, who has added a page on their city page for Alzheimer's and dementia. That's just, I think we believe it's the first city in the nation to actually dedicate a page for resources and information. And we're going to be doing a big kickoff, kind of a town hall meeting. We're hoping to get some senators there as well and really talk about the city's involvement to really meet the needs of the community. They've just done some incredibly fun things and easing the access for people, which is very cool to see. Now, I know that Harry, you've got. Do you want to just tell people a little bit about Forget Me Not and the various pages that you have? I can't even keep up with all the pages that you have for Forget Me Not. We are growing so fast. What happened with Forget Me Not though is the members don't want a huge site. They don't want to say, they want to keep the site small and intimate. So what we did through Forget Me Not, we started up some separate dedicated dementia sites. Like one is Lewy body dementia and frontal lobe and vascular dementia. Those three. Those are doing so well. I mean, it's incredible how fast they're growing. And then, of course, we have a Spanish site. Very proud of that services the Spanish community. And then besides that, we come to realize that having a dementia support site isn't all doom and gloom. People want to get away from that. Just an escape, if you will. So we started up some sites, like we have a recipe site that people can the members post their favorite recipes and recipes of past when they were growing up, things like that, and that's a popular site. We have a fun site, and the fun site is get away from dementia, that you can just have fun, because we can laugh, we can joke around. We're not being disrespectful to anybody living this disease, and it's just a fun place to be. Then we have a Pathway to Knowledge page that is a page of resources that members come across and post, and we're trying to compile them into one central source on that page. We also have a page that is unfortunately is becoming popular, but and I say that I have to explain why I say that. It's a memorial site, and it's a site where people, when the loved ones pass, that they can remember them. It's too bad we have to have a site for that, but it's nice to have a site that somebody can go to. And I'm sure. Oh, we have a woman folk page. I'm not allowed on that page, so I don't know a lot about it. But I think it's my interpretation of that page is where the women go to complain about us, and we don't hear them. That's what I think that page is. But I hear that's quite popular too.
Do you have a guys page where it's just men only?
I had a guy page, but I was the only member on it, and after a year, I kind of gave that up. Us men don't complain, so I mean, there's no need for that page, so I kind of got rid of it.
Okay. Well, I just was seeing if everything is fair, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's good. Well, I'm looking forward to chatting with you on Dementia Chats, which will be this afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern. That's 2 p.m. Central Time, 1 o'clock Mountain, and noon Pacific Time. For those of you who have not been part of Dementia Chats, it's a free webinar we do twice a month typically it's the second and the fourth Tuesday of the month. And I'll go ahead and put the link to the webinar in the chat box here. And anybody can go ahead and join. You don't need any password. You just enter as a guest. And typically the only ones that have video and audio are experts, and others communicate through the chat box with that. And we have some really, really interesting conversations. I'm always amazed and always learn something. That's for sure, with our team of experts who are living with the disease. So, again, I want to thank you, Harry, for all you do and all you've done. You're just a little powerhouse. You and Michael have just made such significant changes, and I hope Robert's going to be able to join us today too. Robert Bowles, he's doing some neat stuff too, and he's started up a new page too on Facebook, if I'm not mistaken. And you're helping him with that.
He is overseeing the Lewy body dementia page that we have that is associated with Forget Me Not. And he also is starting up a blog of his own, and I'm giving him limited help on that as much as I can. But that is turning out so wonderful. That man is a powerhouse. He is a true friend. I can't say enough about him. I mean, he's a wealth of information.
Yeah, good guy, really good guy. And then Dina Dotson, who we always love to have join us. I don't know if she's going to be able to make it. And same with Steve Poneth. Haven't seen Steve around for a while. He had a grandchild and has been pretty busy with that. And I totally can understand that now that I have one myself. So, or have a new one, I should say. Very, very fun journey. Well, I think we'll go ahead and just end the show then. And I would invite everyone to join Dementia Chats today. I did put the link in the box, but you can always go to alzheimerspeaks.com and go to our About page, and then just scroll down to Dementia Chats. And when you do that, there'll be a big statement that says to log into the webinars. Just click on that, and you'll be brought right to the site. And like I said, we would love to have you participate with us. Any last comments, Harry?
I'll see you at 3 o'clock.
Sounds like a plan. We will see you then. Thanks so much, everybody. Take care and have a blessed week. Bye, Harry.
Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Lori LeBay, and I wanted to tell you about Alzheimer's Speaks, which is another great podcast. You see, my own mother lived with dementia for 30 years, and I felt lost. Did you know every 3 seconds someone in the world is being diagnosed with dementia? Odds are it's going to hit your families too. We want to help you connect to services, products, tools, research, and stories so you can be prepared. Please subscribe to Alzheimer's Speaks on your favorite podcast platform.